Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So many of you might have already heard about the upcoming K-pop survival show called Under 15, which is set to air soon. But if you haven't, let me break it down for you. This show is designed as an audition program where all the contestants are under 15 years old. Yes, you heard that right. Literal children, with some contestants reportedly as young as 9 years old, are competing in a survival show to debut as K-pop idols. If that already doesn't sound concerning, let's get into why this entire concept is incredibly problematic and deserves the heavy backlash it's getting. The K-pop industry is already notorious for exploiting young idols, and now we're looking at a show that is actively pushing kids into an industry that has proven to be mentally and physically exhausting, even for adults. The idea of 9-year-olds being in a high-stakes competition for what would become their full-time careers at such a young age raises serious ethical concerns. The entertainment industry, especially K-pop, is no stranger to overworking its artists, strict diets, extreme beauty standards, and complete control over idols' personal lives. So why in the world would anyone think it's a good idea to throw elementary school-aged kids into that environment? The backlash against Under 15 has been intense, and rightfully so. Many people believe that children this young should not be in survival shows, competing for a spot in an industry known for its brutal conditions. The controversy reached a peak on March 25, 2025, when an urgent production briefing was held at the Stanford Hotel Seoul. One of the biggest questions raised during this briefing was whether or not the show would actually air as planned, considering the overwhelming backlash and mass boycotts. This is where things took an emotional turn. The co-production CEO, Hwang In-young, actually broke down in tears, and PD Young Seok-in responded by saying that canceling the show would hurt the contestants. And, I mean, sure, it's understandable that these kids would feel hurt. They've already spent time training and preparing for this show, and their parents likely have high expectations for their futures as idols. But let's take a step back for a second. We're talking about literal 9-year-olds. 9-year-olds who should be playing with their friends, studying, and enjoying childhood, not battling each other in a high-pressure industry. The fact that the producers and CEO seem to be completely missing the point of the backlash is frustrating. People aren't upset because they want to take away opportunities from these kids. They're upset because this entire situation is exploitative. These children should be in school, focusing on their education, rather than being thrown into an industry that will likely chew them up and spit them out before they even reach adulthood. Let's take a real-life example. New Jeans. They debuted as minors, and fast forward to now, they're caught up in a legal mess that's completely tarnishing their reputations. They are also allegedly being used by Min Hee-jin, their former CEO, in ways that many have compared to manipulation and grooming. This entire situation just goes to show how vulnerable young idols are in this industry, and yet, here we are, watching an even younger generation of kids being prepped for the same cycle. It's honestly disturbing. During the same press conference, PD Hwang, the one who started Crying, also made the statement, "The contestants are also deeply hurt by the distortions of the show's intent. It's very heartbreaking. The show should not be canceled. If it is, the emotional impact on the children and their parents will be significant." Okay, but let's be real. The 9-year-olds on this show are probably more concerned about their favorite cartoons or playing with their Barbie dolls than the idea of debuting as a K-pop idol. And while we're at it, let's talk about the parents. Because yes, the company is 100% to blame for even coming up with this exploitative concept, but the parents are also at fault for willingly signing their kids up for this. What parent looks at their 9-year-old and thinks, yes, let's throw them into an industry that requires insane diets, strict regulations, and an exhausting workload? It's honestly wild. Then, in an attempt to calm the backlash, PDCO made the statement, it was also sent to the Korea Communications Standards Commission and the Korea Communications Commission. It was internally reviewed and deemed to have no issues. But that completely misses the point. The backlash isn't about whether the show is safe or follows broadcast guidelines. It's about the long-term consequences of normalizing the participation of such young children in the K-pop industry. It's about the physical and mental toll this could take on kids who are still in the middle of developing their identities. K-pop already has a problematic history with its treatment of idols. Strict diets, grueling 12-plus-hour training schedules, contractual restrictions, and in some cases even control over their personal relationships and social media use. Do we really want to introduce 9-year-olds to that kind of life? They are literally still growing, both mentally and physically. At that age, their biggest concerns should be learning, having fun, and figuring out who they are, not being forced into strict diets, long practice hours, and industry politics. And let's not forget the teaser video for Under 15. It already raised massive red flags. Some of the contestants, who are literal children, were seen wearing crop tops and chokers, outfits that have no place on kids that young. And then there's the contestant profile designs, which were presented in a barcode-style format, making the children look like literal products for sale. It was giving factory-produced idols, and it was downright disturbing. And after all of this, the producers are still crying over the backlash, like they can't understand why people are upset. It's actually unbelievable how blind they are to the reality of this situation. Even if this show was perfectly safe and followed all the right regulations, the core problem remains. These kids should not be in the K-pop industry yet. They should be allowed to enjoy their childhoods, make mistakes, and figure out who they are without the pressure of a contract dictating their every move. Because once they sign those contracts, they're locked in. Their futures will be dictated by entertainment companies that don't have their best interests at heart. So what do you guys think? Do you think these kids are really going to be heartbroken if the show doesn't air? Or should they be more worried about their homework? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos. Bye for now, and stay safe.
Like in the future.